Welcome to Ms.Noxfear. Tonight, we're taking you to what might be the safest, yet most terrifying place in the world, an office building. We will follow the story of a security guard, Donnie, whose job is to keep the peace. But he doesn't know that the peace he's guarding is the horror that will soon consume him. Donnie, 28, just got a job as a night security officer at Ethereal Tower. This building is new, empty, and not yet in operation. Donnie's job is simple: patrol every 2 hours, ensure all doors are locked, and write a report. The pay is decent, and best of all, he can enjoy the solitude. At first his job felt monotonous. Only the sound of his own footsteps broke the silence. But everything changed in the second week. Every time he passed the 3rd floor, specifically in front of room 318, he felt something strange. It wasn't a sound or a sight, just a feeling as if there were eyes watching him. He would always turn to check, making sure the room was empty, and it was. Just a white door with frosted glass. No furniture, nothing at all. One night, he heard a faint whisper. It was unclear what was being said, just a gentle gust of wind carrying fragmented sounds. Donnie stopped in front of room 318. He pressed his ear against the door. Nothing. He shook his head, thinking it was just a hallucination from exhaustion. But the whispers didn't stop. This time, he could distinguish the sound of distant children's laughter, followed by the scraping of furniture, as if someone were moving tables and chairs inside. Strangely, the sounds were very faint, almost inaudible. Curious. Donnie opened the door. The room was empty. There wasn't even dust, just a clean gray carpet. From that night on, these strange occurrences became more frequent. Donnie felt as if something was playing a game with him. He even started recording his patrols on his phone, hoping to capture the sounds. He checked his recordings and found something terrifying. On the recording, the frequencies of the sounds appeared. When Donnie heard nothing, his recording captured strange sound waves, as if conversations, laughter, and cries were happening at a frequency level he couldn't consciously hear. Donnie's fear was no longer about ghosts. He began to investigate the building's history. He asked senior security staff, and they all said the same thing. The building was new. There had never been any incidents. However, an old building technician provided different information. He said that before the building was constructed, the land was home to an old laboratory. The lab was rumored to be developing a technology of subliminal sounds to control the human mind. The project failed and was shut down, but their sensitive equipment might still be buried beneath the building. Donnie realized he wasn't being haunted by a ghost. He was the target of an experiment. The sounds he heard, which he couldn't consciously perceive, were constantly manipulating his brain. He started to become paranoid. He felt like someone was watching him in the elevator. He saw shadows moving in the corner of his eye. He began talking to himself, hallucinating. His body was exhausted, but his mind couldn't stop. He couldn't sleep because every time he closed his eyes, he felt the whispers getting clearer. On the last night, Donnie couldn't take it anymore. He decided to destroy whatever was inside room 318. He brought a crowbar and a hammer. He battered down the door, went inside, and started hitting the wall. With every blow he delivered, the voices in his head grew louder. The voices now sounded like whispers telling him to do illogical things. When he hit the thickest part of the wall, he found something. A small hole, and inside it, an old box. The box contained a small device, a sound transmitter. The device was still on, emitting a frequency that was completely inaudible. However, one thing was different. On the transmitter, there was handwriting stating that this device would only be active if someone was constantly listening to its sounds. Donnie realized he had become the inhabitant of that empty room. The room wasn't haunted by a ghost, but by an illusion created by undetected technology. And now, he was the victim. The voices were too strong in his head. He couldn't control himself anymore. Donnie's story is a warning. Horror doesn't always come from ghosts. It can come from things that are invisible, right in front of our eyes. Room 318 was indeed empty, but no one knows who the real inhabitant was. Was it Doni who inhabited the room, or was it Doni who was inhabited by it?